Hey folks, for this assignment we're going to make a program that takes a percent grade, like a 75 or a 90, and spits out a letter grade, just A, B, C, D, and F, okay? If you think that sounds easy, go ahead and do it. You don't need to watch this video probably. Actually you do, because there's going to be two ways I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to show you two different ways, and the first, I'll just explain it. The first is going to use only ifs, and the second way is going to use, well, the second one is going to use ifs and ands, and then the final way is going to use ifs and else ifs. Okay, and there is no else ifs. We're going to have to roll our own. So you'll see that at the end. So if you are pretty firm at programming, if you consider yourself a strong programmer, go ahead and try that, and then kind of fast forward through the video and make sure that you got all the information. This is easier in Scratch, but if you've done it in Scratch once, it's going to be a lot easier when we do Python. So let's get going. First off, this kitty cat is going to ask, hey, give me a grade. What's your percent grade? And it's you're gonna put in a 99, and it's gonna say you got an A. Okay. So let's do this when the green flags click this time. Ask what's your percent grade. Okay, and it's gonna store obviously in the variable answer. We'll check that so we can see it. And let's do it. Okay, so we don't need another variable. We're just doing one grade. That part's easy. And the kitty's gonna. When is the kitty gonna say you got an A? Okay. And let's just keep the grade simple for now. You got an A. Well, let's go to our control, and you should be able to do this. You know, we've done kind of this before. And let's go. If something, then say you got an A. Okay, where do we go next? What's an A? Think to yourself. I mean, maybe you've never had one, but you know, you could ask a friend or Google it or something. But an A is any grade that is above or alligator mouth a 90. Okay, we're not going to do A minuses and B pluses and stuff like that. We're just going to do A, B, C, D, F. Okay. All right. So if you don't know how to pronounce these alligator mouths, you can still get by in programming. Let me explain real quick. If this is a 3 on this side and a 2 on this side, even if you don't know how this is pronounced, okay, in math class you need to know how this is pronounced. This is 3 is greater than 2. This one is pronounced less than every time. But the cool thing about programming with comparisons is that all you need to know is if this alligator is eating more cookies, then it's a happy alligator, and it is true. Okay? What if I flip this around? This alligator is not eating the most cookies, and it's a false alligator. Okay? So even if you can't remember how this is pronounced, you can look and see if the alligator is true or false, if it's happy or not happy. Okay? And I'm right-clicking to get that to flip directions. Now, if you can read this out loud, 3 is greater than 2, then your life will be easier. And yeah, 3 is greater than true. That's a true statement, okay? Why do I care about this? Because I'm going to check if their answer, and you know what? I'm going to make a variable called grade, just so the program's more readable. We're going to set the variable grade to whatever their answer was, and this is not required. But now I can not just say if their answer is greater than 90. I'm going to say, hey, if their grade they gave me, and maybe I should call this percent. Let's go right-click and rename it to percent. Okay, there we go, and it changes in the whole program. That's kind of cool. If their percent is greater than 2, you got an A. So let's run it, and I got a 50, unfortunately. But hey, I still got an A, and you're like, dude, I can hack the teacher's grade book now. It's not quite that easy, but so what is an A? It's any grade greater than 90. Okay. All right, so we've done all the hard parts, and we're only a few minutes in, 4 minutes in, which is nice. Let's go make sure this works. 95 is an A. Run it again, and I got a 88, and it doesn't say anything because 88 greater than 90 is false, right? That percent that we got from answer right here, or we got from ask, stored in answer, then stored in percent on this line, so that we could read this line. Again, if you're scared, if this makes you nervous, you could put answer in here. But what if we had a program that had more than one grade, which is a hint that we will. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to duplicate this block, and what am I going to do now? Let's go change this, and I'll get rid of the exclamation point. You got an B. Well, what grade is a B? Okay, ask your neighbor if you don't know. And 80, and I'm actually going to stop at C because I want you to have to do some of this, and the D and the F will be yours. Okay. here's my three things, 90, 80, 70, and let's run it, okay? Well, I got a 75. You got a C. Awesome. You might think the program is perfect, but I want to see if you can see a problem that's going to have, even before I hit play, okay? Pause it for a sec. See if you can see why this program wrecks. A decent programmer can find their problems, their errors, their bugs, and fix them. A great programmer can identify them before they happen, okay? So what if I put in a 95 here? 95 is greater than 90. I got an A. And then it comes down here, and 95, let's try this. 95 is greater than 90. I got an A. Oh, crap. 95 is greater than 80. I got a B. 95 is greater than 70. I got a C, okay? I want you to pause the video for a sec, please. Just see if you can think of a way to fix this. Look around, you know, in your control, in your operators. There's a few different ways to fix this. I want you to see if you can figure this out, okay? Just on ABC. I'm not going to do D and F with you. Maybe I will at the end. I don't know. You should be able to do that, though. Okay, pause it. And welcome back. Yeah, I'm not going to give you my lecture on this video. Let's just hurry up. Okay, the first way I'm going to do this is with ands. Okay, and this is actually the harder way, or a weirder way, but what is an A? It is greater than 90. That's actually fine, unless I want to do A pluses. 91, 92. Oh, what if I get a 90? That's something I didn't think about. What if I got a 90? I got a B. That's not true, okay? Now, because we're doing whole number grades, that actually works. You might say, well, let's say greater than 89 is an A. Sure, now I got a 90 and I got an A, but what if I got an 89.9999? Oh, sorry. Yeah, 89.001. What if I barely got an 89? That's still, 89 greater than 89, and that's still an A, technically. Now you're like, I'm going to round up because I'm a nice teacher, but what if you didn't want to, okay? There are no greater than or equal tos or less than or equal tos in this Scratch program. You would have to put an OR in there to do greater than 90 or equal to 90. That's what this looks like, and that's one drawback of Scratch. Like that's hard. It's a pain to plug all those in. It's a lot easier in Python, actually. You just type it out, greater than or equal to 90, okay? I'm not going to get too finicky on this. Okay, I'm going to throw this away so it's not scary since we're just starting off. And I'm going to show you how to fix the B, okay? So the greater, let's go 89. I'm sure there's a better, let's go 89.99999. That's what we'll do. Okay, there we go. Kind of a rough fix, but that'll work, okay? Now, the hard part here is, it's still going to print. If I get a 90 through 4, I got an A. This B is still printing in the C, okay? So what is the range of grades that is a B? Okay, it's not any grade greater than 80. That's wrong, right? It's any grade greater than 80, or technically, I guess, 79.99. I'm not going to put 79.9. Let's make this a little less confusing. Let's go with that, okay? Any grade greater than 79.9. And I'm going to duplicate this. If the percent or the grade is less than what? Greater than 79.9 and less than anything less than 90, right? Ooh, that's going to run on 89.9, isn't it? No, because, yeah, it won't. It'll run on some weird numbers like 89.999, but that's going to work, okay? So a B is really anything greater than 79.9 and less than 90, okay? So 89.9 in this case would give me a B. If I run it again, the one weird thing is, you can keep typing 9s and eventually beat it. We'll say that's an A. Let's just give it to him. Okay. Now you're like, okay, now I'm getting it. Let's make sure we understand this. The grade that's in there is 90. Is 90 greater than 79? Yes, it is. Is it also less than 90? That should be false. Okay, now I'm weirded out. Let's run this again. 89. There we go. Okay. Plug it back in. 89. Sorry. I hate it when it goes wrong. I gotta be. Let's pull this this out. Is 89 greater than that? True. Is 89 less than 90? That's true. Okay, that makes sense. In order for an and to be true, both sides have to be true, right? If either side or both sides are false, the and is false. So 60 is not greater than 79. 95 is not less than 90. One of those sides would be false, and the whole and would be false, okay? Let's move on. Let's duplicate. Don't want to beat a dead horse for too long. If you get it now, good. If not, you'll see it again later. Kind of like, it's like life, right? If you learn your lesson early, you can move on. If not, you'll keep learning your lesson until it sticks, right? And that's one to grow on, kids. I'm going to let you finish this off, and for D's and F's. What's an F? Pretend there's no negative grades. Don't think too much about a negative 7 billion grade. An F is anything between 0 and 59, right? 59.9. And a D is between 60 and 69.9, okay? Is that true? Yeah, I can't remember what it is. Anyway, do the last two grades, D and F, and let's leave the cat alone, and let's go bring in a new sprite, and I'm just going to bring in a different one. You know what? No. In this case, not an apple. That's silly. Let's delete the apple. I want actually to type again. I'm going to paint a new sprite, get the text tool, and this is going to be a percent to grade program. It's going to convert a percentage to a grade like we just did using not ands, but we're going to use if-else's. And you know what? I'm just going to call it that for now, and we'll see if you can kind of figure out what we're going to do here. We're going to... Oh, this one's the green flag that runs this. Let's go switch this cat to... well, we can leave that as a green flag. Let's switch this one to when the sprite is clicked. Okay. So when this sprite... Heck, when the space is pressed. Let's use the space for this one. When I press the space bar, it's going to convert a percent to grade using if-else, okay? Now, let's cheat a little bit. I'm going to break this apart on the cat and drag it over and drop it so it copies the first part. Okay? Yeah. Oh, when the space bar is pressed. Sorry, I'm kind of messing that up. Doesn't really matter. Oh, it doesn't matter. We don't want to both run at the same time. So we should have just said when this sprite is clicked from the beginning. When the cat's clicked. When this other sprite is clicked. Okay, now they won't have problems. Okay. What's your grade? Blah, blah, blah. Now, we're not going to use ifs and ands and all that. You're like, I can use nested ifs. That is actually true, but that gets ugly quick. I'm going to use this block, and I'm just going to let you pause for a second. See if you can get the same program running without ands. Okay, we're just going to use if and else if. Remember that all these ifs, they all run, they all check. Okay, ifs just happen. Even if this one's true, this next one will happen. Even if it's false or true, this next one will happen. Okay, the ifs just keep going and going. The cool thing about if-else's is they're connected. Okay, they belong to each other, and it's actually a binary or a split thing. It's either true or false. Only one of these can happen. Okay, and if you haven't thought of this trick yet, we're actually going to nest them to make this work. Okay, I can't just go if-else for 5-letter grades or 6-letter grades. That's not going to cut it because I have 3 pairs of things happening. Okay, let's go get back to where we were. We're going to say if your grade is greater than 90 and percent, we can use the same variable because we'll never run them both at the same time. If percent is greater than 89.9 or 90, whatever, then you got an A. Now, what do I do else? Okay, they either got an A or they got other things, okay? I need to say, well, obviously I need to say, well, you got a B. I'll put this out here. If percent is greater than 79.9, then you got a B. But how do I do that? Like, if you put another if in here, then you got a B and you took care of it. But then what do? You're kind of hosed. You're stuck there, and you're like, well, I'll put more ifs in there. And B, come on, grammar, it's AB, gotta be. What you need is to nest if-else's, okay? And before I plug stuff in, let's explain this. If I have 3, an if-else inside an if-else inside another if-else, nested like Russian dolls, here's how it works. If this one happens, then the else doesn't happen and we're done. If the if is false, if this condition is false, we go into the else part, and then we check another if. And if that's true, we do this. And if not, we do the else. Okay, so this is going to be our B part, right? And if that's true, then we got a B. And then we're going to duplicate and plug this in. I should actually duplicate this whole block, right? That'll be easier. Duplicate that block. What's a C? Oops, it's already trying to run. The C is anything greater than that. And let's stop it and start it. Oh, click on the sprite, I mean. I got a 95. Okay, 95 is greater than that. It's going to say an A, and then it's not going to do the else. We're done. What about 85? 85 is shh. 85 is anything that is it's not greater than 90, right? 85 is not greater than 90. 85 is greater than 79. Okay, so this if was false. It went to the else part. It does this if. And if that's true, then we're done. Okay, that skips this else and it skips everything else that's inside it. That's just kind of how it works, okay? Kind of hard to figure out nesting right off the bat, but it's good for you to wrestle with it for a while. I'm going to leave the D's and F's for you. And just so you, well, let's finish this one off actually, because it'll be a little bit cooler. This C will work. I am going to duplicate and plug in a 59.9. Anything greater than 59.9 is an F, or sorry, D. And the cool thing, important thing here is that only one of these can happen, okay? So now the final else, you could put another if else in there, but why don't I have to? If I didn't get an A, I didn't get a B, I didn't get a C, I didn't get a D, then what did I get? Well, the only other grade left is a sad face. F, right? So let's run this one last time. Sorry, click on it. And I got a 33. Sad face. Why did it go there? Because that was false. Went to the else. That was false. It went to the else. That was false. It went to the else. This is false. It went to the last else, and that was where it ended, okay? This is kind of a catch-all. If all these other things were false, this last else happens, okay? Now, remember, this can't work if they're not nested. If they're all like this, then it works in pairs, okay? And I think I'm actually going to leave this broken at the end to mess up the people who just fast forward to the end. So, and actually, let's just change some more numbers here. I'm just messing the heck out of this just to throw people for a loop. And this is a 55, and this is 178. Oh, and this is probably a negative 13%. And let's go. Okay, this is a giraffe. You got a giraffe if you got that grade. And I'm just doing nonsense here. If you're actually watching along, you might just want to rewind it and go back to where I stopped spouting, or where I wasn't spouting nonsense, but got a punishment for evil. And, whatever. This is just gibberish. What's your sign? Zodiac sign. And anyway, hopefully you realize that this is just crap. Have a good day.